Hi, it's Miriam Castilla here, and in today's Effectology Tip, I'm going to tell you how to make annoying people disappear like magic. So stick around. Okay, so you're getting on board with this whole I create my own reality thing, and the better I feel, the more things to feel good I find in my life, and it all just snowballs, and I'm feeling fantastic and life is fabulous. And then you go home or you talk to your spouse or your family or your parents, and whether you share it with them or not, you just find that they're not quite vibing so high, and it brings you down, right? And often the tendency is that you want to share this stuff with them because you want them to experience what you're experiencing, but it's just not working. And all that happens is they bring you down, and the harder you try, the worse it gets. So what do you do about it? Because, you know, this whole manifesting thing, this whole creating life on purpose and, you know, doing it the easy way without all the extra hustle thing, it would be so much simpler if it wasn't for all those other people. And this is a really common theme with my students. So, you know, it's only ever a matter of a few days into it where they come to me and they go, okay, so what am I going to do about my husband? Because he's a real downer and I need to do something about him because he's the reason I'm struggling to do this work. So let me give you a few pointers. Take a deep breath. Here's the first one. Don't try to rescue them. This is a hard one for people to take on board, but it's really the number one tip I can give you. And here's the reason why. Everyone is in charge of their own vibrational state. Everyone is in charge of how they choose to feel and what they choose to focus on. And you cannot do that for them. You cannot vibrate for them. You cannot feel good for them. You cannot improve their feeling state. And if you do try when they're not even close, all that's going to happen is you're going to get dragged down. They are on their own journey. We're all co-creating this life together, and everybody is on their own path and their own journey. And sometimes, you know, you meet with people and at the same time you're here and they're there. And other times it may be like this. I'm sure in the past there've been people who've looked at you and gone, I really want to tell you about this stuff, and you were closed off to it. I know I was in the past too. I was like, no, I'm a scientist, I'm an engineer, don't talk to me about that woo-woo stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Show me the empirical evidence. And, you know, that was the stage of life where I was at. So you need to sort of honor and respect that and just realize that you cannot do it for them. You honestly can't. It's their journey, respect that. Number two is, if they are going to drag you down, if even just being around them drags you down, it actually means that you're not really stable yet in your higher vibrational state. You know, you're getting there, but you haven't worked out how to stay there for longer periods so that things don't knock you. So you walk into a room, you see their grumpy face, or they start bitching about something, and it just brings you down almost instantly. If that's happening for you, what you actually need to do is avoid them. You do, because you need to work on you, and you need to work on stabilizing yourself and making it, you know, basically raising your set point of what you're used to, how good you're used to feeling most of the time, to a level where things can't knock you off so easily, to a level where you can laugh stuff off or just brush it off rather than getting sucked back into it. So you need to kind of don't go as often, don't stay as long, change the topic, you know, use those sorts of strategies so that you're not being rude or upsetting them or, you know, rejecting them, but just kind of maneuvering your way away, especially when you sense they're in that place. If it's pushing your buttons, you really need to do that, because otherwise you're just going to join them, and that's not helping anybody. Now, the next thing that's really, really important is to realize that as you do allow yourself to be in a more stable place more often, you get used to that and it just becomes your new way of being. And then those things don't kind of bother you so much anymore. They also won't be around you very much. So you'll find that it's a bit like ships passing in the night. They don't tend to be around you when they're in that negative place. suddenly have things come up, it just doesn't work out. The usual Sunday lunch needs to get cancelled. Whatever it is, you just find that the universe won't put you together because you are not a match. And that will just start taking care of itself. So your work is to just stay in that high vibrational place. If they're close enough and in the vicinity of you and you just worry about you, you can actually help them come up a level. And we've all experienced that. There are certain people we just love being around because they lift our vibe. They make us feel good. We love being around them. We feel alive. We actually pick up on their vibration, and we're close enough and open enough that we allow our own to raise. Your vibration is just how you're feeling. That's it. It's just a fancy word for how am I feeling today. So that's really, really important. Now, I had something else and I wrote it down. Oh, yes. So the last thing was, when you are around them, remember that you have a choice. You can see the best in them or the worst in them. So make a conscious decision that when you see that you look for the good, and that when you see the good, you really emphasize it. Frog in my throat. You really emphasize it. So either to yourself, just quietly within, or even out loud to them. Thank them, appreciate them, without sort of being weird about it. Just thank you. I love it when you do that for me. Oh, I really enjoy it when you're in this great mood. We have so much fun together. Or I love it when you're being funny, or whatever it is, just reinforce it. And if doing it out loud to them is going to be weird and creepy, then just do it to yourself. Just remind yourself how much you actually enjoy those parts of them, because all of us have the ability to range from utter bitch to total saint and angel. All of us do. You do and I do. And depending on the situation and what's around us and the state we're currently in, we'll exhibit, those different facets of ourselves. So the more you focus on the parts of them that you really want to see more of, the more of that you will see, the more of that you will activate, and the more of that will keep reflecting back to you, because you'll always get what you expect. If you choose to just see them as a grumpy grouch who just won't open their mind to anything and just wants to argue back and shut you down all the time, that's all you're going to get. But as you start to shift your perception and start to really reinforce, even just to yourself, the parts of them that are open-minded, that are light-hearted, that are, inspiring, and all those good things, the more of that you will see. Magic happens, and it's your focus that determines where your energy flows and what you get. Cool. So if you're in a place where you're going, I don't even know what's going on, they're bugging me, I'm trying to get a high vibe, I don't know what to do next, and it's just all a bit much and you're not really sure where to begin, then I encourage you to just take my quiz. It's really quick, really simple, and it'll tell you what your power word is for your next step on this conscious journey, this creating your life on purpose. So take the quiz, the link is in the description, and find out your power word. I'll also give you some power questions, and very importantly, at the end of the quiz, you get a really cool free resource, which is like some of my most golden content, totally for free, that will help you take the next step so that you can create the life and the business that you dream of, and do it without all the extra hard work and the hard hustle, because that's what I'm all about. Easy, fun, smoother, more effective, and joyful. Yeah, baby. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye.